You know, there are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult.
Did you expect them to cheer you on?
Certainly hoping they would.
What are you trying to prove to them?
What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in spaceflight and help make spaceflight accessible to almost anyone. And I would hope for as much support in that direction as we can receive.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated. If that fourth launch hadn't worked, that would have been it. We would have not had the resources to mount a fifth.
You couldn't have gone on at that point?
Yes, death would have been, I think, inevitable because we did not have the resources to mount a fifth launch.
This is a tricky business.
Tricky. I wish it wasn't so hard.
If you have a situation where the cost of producing a car, labor and materials, is higher than your sell price, your business model is flawed, and it's doomed, and it's going to fail. And I will guarantee the only difference, the reason for this inflated stock, because Elon Musk said, oh, but look at my solar, look at Solar City, look at the panels, look at the battery plant. The battery plant, in my estimation, is a joke. There are no cost savings by making a lithium-ion plant bigger than other people's lithium-ion plants, because making lithium-ion cells is a fully automated process anyway. So whether you've got full automation in a small building or 10 times full automation in a big building, you're not saving any money. And Solar City, we know, is a disaster.
2008 was brutal. 2008, we had the third consecutive failure of the Falcon 1 rocket for SpaceX. Tesla almost went bankrupt. We closed our financing round 6 p.m. Christmas Eve 2008. It was the last hour of the last day that it was possible. We would have gone bankrupt 2 days after Christmas otherwise. If things had just gone a little bit the other way, both companies would be dead. And I like one of the most difficult choices I have ever faced in life was in 2008. I think I had maybe $30 million left, or $30 or $40 million left in 2008. And I had two choices. I could put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it between the two companies. But if I split it between the two companies, then both might die. When you put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, or building something, it's like a child. And so it's like, which one am I going to let one starve to death? I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I split the money between the two. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both came through.
If you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? When my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hard up we had just one computer. So the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had to sleep in the office. So work hard, like every waking hour. That's the thing I would say, particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, you say like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company. Focus on signal over noise. A lot of companies get confused. They spend money on things that don't actually make the product better. So, for example, at Tesla, we've never spent any money on advertising. We put all of the money into R&D and manufacturing and design to try to make the car as good as possible. I think that's the way to go. So, for any given company, just can keep thinking about, are these efforts that people are expending, are they resulting in a better product or service? And if they're not, stop those efforts. Now is the time to take risk. You don't have, you don't have kids. Your obligation. Well, sorry. Probably don't have kids. But as you get older, your obligations increase. So and once you have a family, you start taking risk not just for yourself but for your family as well. It gets much harder to do things that might not work out. So now is the time to do that before you have those obligations. So I would encourage you to take risks now. Do something bold. You won't regret it.
Life can't just be about solving problems. Otherwise, what's the point? There's got to be things that people find inspiring and make life worth living.
The goal of SpaceX really was to make as much progress as possible to advance rocket technology to the point where hopefully we can establish a colony on Mars. Or at least get as far along that way as we can. We'll just try to go as far as we can.
Tesla shares keep on going, the stock gaining more than 225% so far just this year. It's a pretty striking comparison to the roughly 2% drop for the S&P as a whole. Tesla's record run has made it more valuable than Toyota and General Motors combined, and investors are now taking note of other electric vehicle stocks as well.
This is the Elon effect, because as Elon Musk has shown over the last 4 years, there's plenty of appetite for a pure electric vehicle play, and that's why people over the last 3 months, investors have said, wait a second, if it works for Tesla, can it work for other stocks? And that's why you've seen shares of Nikola, NIO, the Chinese electric vehicle maker, and Workhorse, which is building electric delivery vans. All of those have moved higher, especially in the last month and a half. The Elon effect basically comes down to three things. When you look at Tesla and the role that it's been on, you've got a number of factors here. Q2 deliveries topped estimates, surprised a number of people. Tesla shares year to date up 226%. And yes, EV demand is expected to grow. Plenty of reasons for Elon Musk to dance.
But when critics say you can't do this, your answer to them is,
We've done it.